Scott Jennings pushes back against CNN's Abby Phillip justification of doxing of ICE agents and threats to their families. He said, those are risks they just have to take. Wow. That's crazy. Like, how can you excuse doxing someone, threatening someone because because of the work they do for the federal government? This is just wrong. And I can't believe leftists are actually admitting this out loud, that it's okay to dox people. It's just wrong. It's not right. But we're going to talk a little bit about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit, and they report that CNN's Abby Phillip seems to be okay with increased threats against ICE agents and their families, innocent people. According to Phillip, those are, quote, those are risks, quote, they just have to take. Are you serious right now? Like, she has absolutely no empathy for these ICE agents, and the leftists just they are anti law enforcement, obviously. But violent attacks on federal agents enforcing immigration laws have skyrocketed since the Trump administration ramped up enforcement upon his return to the White House. According to the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials are facing an 830% increase in assaults from January 21st to January 21st to July 14th, compared with the same period in 2024. Incidents included agents being fired upon by gunmen or targeted by rocks and other projectiles. And this is what Abby Phillip said the risk they just have to take. Are you for real? 2 officers, 1 federal, 1 local, were wounded by gunfire in separate attacks in New York and Texas. Agents and their families have been targeted by a doxing app with Democrat politicians, even doxing agents in real time. That should be illegal. While Phillip suggests they have it coming, Scott pushed back. Thank God there is at least one person on the show with common sense. But Jennings told a CNN panel on the masks. I actually interviewed the director of ICE today, Todd Lyons, on my radio show about 20 minutes. I asked him point blank about the mask. So let's get into the clip here. Here we go.
Scott was going to say something.
On the masks, I actually interviewed the director of ICE today, Todd Lyons, on my radio show for about 20 minutes. I asked him point blank about the masks. I said, what is the situation with the masks? Why is it happening? What is your observation? He said, I don't like the masks. I wish we didn't have to do the masks. He said back in March we weren't. But then something changed. And what changed was people started doxing these ICE agents, posting their personal information, posting where their families are, posting where their kids' schools are, putting them and their families in jeopardy. And he doesn't want them to have to do it.
But that is a risk that every law enforcement officer in this country faces. Everyone.
No, it's not.
You think they should face that risk?
Listen, I'm not saying that that is right. I'm not saying that is good. It's terrible. No one should be doxxed. No one's families should be brought into their work. But what I am saying is that there are beat officers in this country, in every city in America, who are doing their jobs in extremely dangerous situations. That's a risk that you take when you take on this responsibility of having law enforcement power in this country, because the accountability is between you and the people.
Yeah, well, I don't agree that law enforcement officers in any agency should have to face the risk of their family being assaulted or themselves.
I don't agree with that either, but I do think that the accountability piece of it cannot be ignored.
Do you
think that there should not be
they're always the persecutor and then the victim.
Law enforcement, regardless of what agency they represent?
Of course there should be accountability, and I agree with you about the relationship between policing agencies and the community. Unfortunately, in this case, certain people in our community have decided to take matters in their own hands. I heard a clip today of a congressman named John Larson from Minnesota screaming into a microphone, "This is Nazi Germany, they're the Gestapo." What do you think that does to radicalize people? That is irresponsible, and it's not the fault of an ICE agent for that kind of rhetoric to be in our system.
Facts. And It's not right. It should be illegal to dox people. I mean, could you imagine, God forbid this ever happens to Abby Phillip? Do you think Abby Phillip will have that same sentiment? Do you think she would say if someone happened to dox her, show where she lived? I don't know if she have children or not. She's left it. She probably doesn't. But if she had kids, have posted where her kids go to school and stuff like that, do you think she would say, oh, well, that's just a risk, I have to take as being a public figure like that. That's just a risk I have to take. You think she would say that? Absolutely not. No, she would be upset. She would be calling for people to be arrested and all types of stuff. She would be saying this. She would be sounding like Scott Jennings right now if that was to happen to her. But because it's ICE, is an acceptable risk? Are you serious right now? Abby Phillip is disgusting. I really have no good things to say about her. And she called herself a moderator / journalist, where she does absolutely no journalism or moderating. She just continued to spew leftist propaganda talking points. It's ridiculous. Thank goodness for Scott Jennings. CNN will have absolutely no good ratings at all. The ratings are already in the tank, but it would be a lot worse if they didn't have Scott Jennings on that show. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.